I gave it a solid effort, but it was not meant to be. I don't enjoy canceling games after I've announced them. This isn't the first time I've done it, or the second time, or the third time, as far as I can remember. But it's never easy. Relatively speaking, though, I feel pretty at ease with this decision. Whenever I started making 1 week at Flumpty's, the biggest motivator for me was just Five Nights at Freddy's 4 hype. Because it was announced and everyone was really excited, like, goodness gracious, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we thought that was maybe the end, but it turns out there's one more. That's gonna be amazing. We need to theorize about what it'll be like. We need to play all the past games again and get ourselves into it, and, you know, it was just a really exciting time. I wanted to kind of join in on that because I like the idea of giving people something to be excited about. And I could, you know, make a new game about something entirely different that no one has ever seen before, or I could go back and maybe make one more Flumpty game, and people would be excited for that because it's in a universe they've already seen before and they know about and are familiar with. That was my main motivator for 1 week at Flumpty's. I went into it with almost no ideas, and I announced it whenever I'd done almost nothing with it. Like, I thought about waiting longer to announce it because I hadn't done anything with it and I wasn't really sure if I was going to complete it yet. But I got impatient just being excited about the idea of other people being excited. And that's probably something that I shouldn't have done, but it was too late once I'd done it. I did initially have fun working on it, though, because I had some ideas, not very many, but I thought I had just enough where I could plow through as much of it as I could, and if I ever lost motivation, then I could say, well, I've done so much in these first 1 or 2 weeks of production that anything that I've done so far, it can't go to waste. I have to keep going. It's too late to stop now. That was the mindset that I went into. So, with One Night at Flumpty's 2, I kind of went in with the assumption that I was just going to make up ideas as I went along and it would work out eventually, and it did. 1 week at Flumpty's, I tried the same thing, and it just didn't work out. That's kind of what you get whenever you don't plan things out well enough. It might work and it might not. It took me developing and programming a whole map system, drawing 15 rooms, or technically 16, I guess, because of the office, but the office was never finished, and drawing Birthday Boy Blam, I think 19 times or something like that. It took me that long to realize that there were just inherent problems with the way that I designed the game, and it was too late to fix them unless I wanted to make some huge changes. Basically, I designed the game around the ability to be able to move around bits of hallways and turn on these laser beam doors that pretty much act like the vents in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So I did that, and I realized that it was very easy to just trap the character or the characters between walls and just have them get stuck forever, and then there's no challenge anymore. In fact, there's no challenge to begin with, because there's nothing else stopping you from doing anything to that effect. So it just... I wasn't having fun making the game, and my own philosophy that I've kind of developed over time is if I'm not having fun making something, then it won't be fun for people to play. I wanted to challenge that this time. I wanted to see if I could still make an enjoyable game even though I wasn't enjoying working on it, and it turns out that I didn't see the mistakes in it because my heart wasn't in it. And the mistakes that I did see, I had no interest in fixing, so I weighed my options. I either had to cancel 1 week at Flumpty's and save myself a whole lot of stress and disappoint people, or spend forever making 1 week at Flumpty's, completely stress myself out, and still disappoint people. So I chose the former option. As sad as the news is, it's also a huge relief for me, because I, of course, am relieving myself of a whole lot of stress that I went through trying to make this game that I just don't want to do anymore. And also because I feel like One Night at Flumpty's 2 is a perfectly adequate ending. I don't feel like it needs a continuation, and so I'm glad that I ended it how I did, because it doesn't feel like by discontinuing the series where I am, I'm leaving it incomplete. It just feels like I'm leaving it off where it ends pleasantly in people's memories. It's also a relief to me because One Night at Flumpty's is a parallel of Five Nights at Freddy's. One Night at Flumpty's 2 wasn't intended to be, but still kind of ended up being a parallel of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And the third One Night at Flumpty's game, aka 1 Week at Flumpty's, pretty clearly resembles Five Nights at Freddy's 3, even though I tried to make it as original as I could, but If I had finished it, then people would just say, well, you copied the first 3 Five Nights at Freddy's games, now copy the 4th one whenever it comes out on Halloween. And that's not really something I want to do. To be honest, I've grown really tired of the Flumpty characters. I still like them, but I just don't want to do anything else with them. They're always jokes. In my mind, they always will be jokes. And I don't want to continue to make games only about characters that didn't really have much of a serious thought process behind them. I guess that's another thing, is I considered making it a more serious game, because I had more nights to work with and therefore I could make more of a story develop. Since people will be curious, I'm gonna explain what the story of 1 Week at Flumpty's was going to be right now, and just kind of the general layout of it. Night 1 was going to be basically just survive the night with Birthday Boy Blam wandering the building, and that was going to be it. Night 2 was going to be essentially the same thing, except with the beaver and the owl. Everyone said that the beaver needed to return as a zombie or a phantom, and that's an idea that I had before I released One Night at Flumpty's 2. I just didn't want to use it, but it's funny because my friend Jake suggested that the beaver be a mummy, because he has toilet paper. And he is the only one who suggested that idea, and I thought it was great, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to finish the game, but of course I wasn't able to. So, the beaver would not have been a zombie, would not have been a phantom, would have been a mummy. And no one would have seen it coming. It is sad that that idea didn't become a reality, but maybe someone can make it happen. Night 3 was going to be just the Red Man and Grunkfist. Grunkfist was going to, like, teleport, and the Red Man was going to mess with equipment or something. Night 4 was going to involve the eyesore, and 2 additional characters that resemble the eyesore, but are just singular corpses rather than a whole dinosaur of corpses, and they were just going to also, like, run around the building, I guess. And they were going to be called Champ and Chump. The reason they would be called Champ and Chump is because of a plot twist that would be revealed before Night 5. The plot twist would be, you see a minigame flashback of yourself, essentially, being the player of the first 2 One Night at Flumpty's games. And Flumpty is, like, beckoning you to a back room where he says, come and claim your prize and be my best friend. And then once you're lured into that back room, he says, well, in order to be my new best friend, you have to kill your old best friend. Naturally, you would decline this offer because hopefully you're a sane human being. And so, Flumpty kills you both, you are the champ, and he is the chump. Then the question is, who is playing the game? Night 5, Flumpty is the only one active, and I was thinking, like, maybe everything could change in Night 5 and it would be crazy, and the biggest idea I had was having the rooms switch places. Like, you would be able to physically see the rooms that are the same size on the map just switch. But dang, would that have been more interesting to look at than to actually play. So, climactic 5th night where you're surviving Flumpty, and he's really, really scary and whatnot, and then I wanted there to be a 6th night. That wasn't an actual night, it was just kind of a thing where you look in a mirror and realize that you have been Flumpty this whole game. The whole thing took place in your consciousness. Golden Flumpty is your alter ego, and you have been tempted to kill all these innocent people because you thought it was a fun game. But now you have faced your demons and realized your faults. I had a few ideas for an ending. One involved Flumpty just flying away from his problems into an endless oblivion. Another one involved Flumpty killing Golden Flumpty, his alter ego, in some weird, like, boss fight sort of thing, which I didn't know how that was going to work out exactly, but after that he would go back in time and undo everything that he did because he can transcend time and space. Another idea that I had was for his immunity to the plot to be like this contract, and he rips up the contract, and by doing that he's no longer invincible, and so he would go back to all the people that he hurt over the years and have them get their revenge on him, and as a result he would die and become an egg yolk in the ground. And being redeemed, he would fly into the afterlife. I just wanted to have Flumpty fly in one way or another, using the image that I used in the very beginning of the One Night at Flumpty's trailer that I posted whenever I made the first game. I thought it would be kind of a fun way for everything to come full circle. If anyone else wants to make the game and the ending that I could not, feel free. You can make a 1 week at Flumpty's if you want. You can make any number of Flumpty's fan games. You can make fan art. You can use the music that I made for the One Night at Flumpty's games if you want. Like, you have permission to do any of that if you feel like it. I'm just honored that it's come this far, and you're all wonderful people. Thank you for everything. If you are at all worried that this means the end of me making games, that's not the case, because making games is my deepest passion. It's something I care about very greatly, and it's something I don't intend on stopping anytime soon. I don't know what I'll do next. All I know is that it's most likely not going to be Flumpty. But it'll be something. We'll see.